Okay, so we're going to first create the drawing from problem 1-6. I've done this for you. I guess we did in class at the end of class last Wednesday, but we're going to do it again here today. Or at least we did the outside box. Today we're going to do the inside box. And we're going to bring in the concept of snap. Now, if you have the ability to print this drawing set out, those 5 or 6 page or 4 pages, how many ever pages there are, I suggest that you do so because it's a lot easier to look at it as separate pages and to go back and forth from one screen to another. I'll be going back and forth here anyway, so you can take a look at it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build an outside box. And if you recall, we said that this symbol here tells us that this is an absolute reference point, telling us that our origin is at or not our origin, but the corner of this drawing is at 2, 2. So let's go to our drawing, and I'm just going to go into some crazy zoom. I have no idea where I am in my drawing space because this may be exactly where you're at, especially if you've been playing around, you've moved things around. It happens. So I click on my line, and then I need to go to 2, 2. So I'm simply going to type 2, 2. And then I'm going to hit enter. And you see it put my line way, way down there, and we can barely see it. So what I have to do is I have to zoom, or I shouldn't say we can barely see it, but we can barely make it out around that XY coordinate. That XY coordinate is our 0. So I'm going to zoom and pan to put this in a space where it makes sort of sense to look at it. And I think that's about right. If this is 2, 2, I know the length of this is going to be 3. Now the other thing I have already set up here, and I'm going to unset it just so you can see, is normally and I don't recall exactly what your set will be like the first time you align the angle. And it's not that hard to create an angle of 0 degrees. AutoCAD has an ortho mode, and that's this right angle with the little box in it. If you click on ortho mode, it allows you to only draw vertical lines. Now, even though we're only drawing vertical lines, we're going to come down here into our text box, and we're going to type in dimensions. Now, I want to point out something about this text box, is when you bring your cursor down, you click inside the text box, and then you have to start entering text. However, if the cursor leaves the text box before you start typing, watch what happens. See that blinking cursor? I haven't typed anything yet. Now, if I pull the cursor out, I'm no longer in the text box. So you have to start typing and make sure you leave the cursor in that text box until you start typing. So my next point is going to be up here. It's going to be 2, 5. I'm going to go back into my text box. I'm going to type 2, 5. And you see we've drawn a line up here. Now I'm in ortho mode. I could continue drawing my line that way. I'm going to go back into my text box. I'm going to type the next coordinate, which will be 7.25, 5. Like I put 7.215, 7.25, 5. Note that I'm still in the text box. So I'm just going to continue typing here. So then I'm going to type 7.25, 2, and then 2, 2 to end my box. And I hit escape. Each time you type the number, you hit enter. When you're finally done, you hit escape to stop drawing the line. Now, to do the inside, we have to use something called snap. And to use snap, this is our snap toolbar, in case you don't remember. And to use the snap toolbar, what we're going to do is we first have to say we're drawing a line. Then we say, well, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to snap from, locates a point offset from a reference point within a command. So what are we really doing? Let's go back to our drawing for a second. We know that this point is 0.75 in the x and 0.75 in the y up from this 2, 2. So we're going to snap from this point to start here. So we're not actually going to start here, but rather we're going to start here, but we're going to use this as a reference point to tell us where to start. And this is how we do that. I'm going to come back here, hit escape, to completely start over. I hit the line, say that I'm drawing a line. I now come up here and hit snap from. I come down here and I hit my select, and I just want to make sure you guys are all going to have this. Yeah. If you don't have this, you don't see a little green square show up at that corner, then you need to turn on the snap to 2D reference points, object snap, which is F3. So this needs to be on right here. So we click on this, and now notice how it says offset. So it wants to know our offset. So I click, and see, I'm not drawing a line yet. It's looking for an offset. So for the offset, I type at 0.75, comma 0.75, and I hit enter. And lo and behold, I made an offset inside that's 0.75 away. 0.75 in the x and 0.75 in the y. So from here, I'm actually going to use absolute dimensions, or absolute coordinates. So I'm continuing to draw my line. I'm going to type at 0, 1.5. So I went up 1.5. If I want to take a look back, I see I now go over by 1.25. So now I can type at 1.25, comma 0. Now these numbers should correspond to the relative coordinates that you have listed in your Excel table. And you should be able to go down the line and type those in order with the at symbol before every coordinate in order to complete this drawing. And it should actually be rather simple. And in fact, let me bring that up and let's see if I did this right. So if I bring up Excel, and I can't do that because I'm at a different computer right now creating this video. So let's, I'm going to close that. So even though I have that document, I don't have that document completed in front of me here. So I'm not able to do that. So I did I went over by 1.25. So now I'm going to type at 0, comma minus 0.5. And then at 1.25, comma 0. At 0, comma 0.5. At 1.25, comma 0. At 0, comma minus 1.5. At minus 1.25, comma 0. at 0, comma 0.5, enter, at minus 1.25, comma 0. Okay, so I did something wrong. Now, if you want to see what you did wrong, you come over here. And actually, I don't see it right now. There's a way to look at all the commands that you've entered. I'm going to type U for undo, and then U for undo. Oh, need to be down here. U. All right. So I actually stopped. I think what I did is I typed 5 instead of 0.5. I'm going to come down here. Start again. So if you make a mistake, you can stop and then continue on. You can delete, or you don't have to delete the whole thing. And that's what I generally caution everybody against doing. Do not go and delete your whole drawing. When you delete your whole drawing, two things are happening. One is that you're not potentially understanding what you did wrong, and then the second is you're often creating more work for yourself. There are some times when you actually do need to delete your whole drawing and start over. But there are often times, such as this one, where I mistake. I don't need to delete my whole drawing. I just need to start, to stop and start over again. Start where I left off, because everything is right up to this point. So I can just start here and then continue on. So at 0, comma 0.5, at minus 1.25, comma 0, at 0, comma minus 0.5, and then I can just actually click here to end the point, but I'm going to go ahead and enter it anyway, at minus 1.25, comma 0. And then I hit escape to actually get out of the line. That completes our drawing. As far as dimensions are concerned, we are not going to be entering dimensions for several weeks, probably 3 or 4 weeks. Do not enter dimensions on your drawing, even if you think you're getting ahead of yourself. Again, part of engineering and part of learning is to follow instructions. So I will actually take off points if you do more than what you should do. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but in a way that's not listening to what I've asked you to do and what I've told you what to do. So if you enter dimensions, you may actually lose points as opposed to gaining points. Okay, so now that our drawing's done, we should save our drawing. So how do we save this drawing? So, File, Save As. We should create some document directory. In this case, I'm going to put in my Massasoit directory, my ENGT107, and I'm going to create a new directory here, or a new folder called F20, and then within F20, I'm going to enter the name IC2 underscore 1-6. IC2 because this will be your in-class second, as part of your in-class second assignment, and 1-6 because it's problem number 1-6. You should not be giving me generic names. If you give me generic names from your drawing, I'll either tell you to change them or I'll be taking points off. Chances are I'm going to tell you to change them. And the reason why is because it gets frustrating and annoying. As you imagine, if I have a class of roughly 20 students, if each of you is handing in 4 drawings a week, that's 80 drawings a week I have to look at. So if everyone assigns them with their own names, I'm going crazy by the end of the week. So please use this format. I will, as much as possible, assign drawings beforehand and assign names beforehand, so you'll know what, whether it's an in-class assignment or it's a homework assignment. In this case, it's going to be in-class assignment IC2, and then it's going to be _1-6. So generally, anything we do this week will be IC2. It's our second week of in-class assignments. So then click Save. When you hand these in, once I actually create the assignment, which I haven't done yet, you'll get a Submit button within Canvas, and you'll be able to submit the assignment right there. I'll then be able to grade it, and I will either give it back to you, or I may potentially just create a directory where I will leave it that you'll have access to, where you can look at it and then determine what you've done wrong. If there are, basically the way I grade assignments are that if things are so bad, they look so far different than what the drawing is supposed to be, then I don't necessarily tell you what's wrong. But if it's generally a good drawing and you've made a couple little mistakes, then I'm going to give you pointers. If something is so bad, then I can't be pointing out every single mistake. It'll take me an hour just to grade a single drawing. So keep that in mind. But if you are making drawings that are completely different from what you think you're doing, I'll either be talking to you, or you should be talking to me and saying, "Hey, Professor L, I'm having some difficulty here. Can you help me out?" So anyway, this is the end of this drawing. I am going to stop this recording, and we'll continue on another recording. You'll probably do this on. You'll probably see those on Thursday.